everybody. Welcome to the Fandom Post Radio Podcast. I am your engineer, Kate, and joining us this week is Brandon.
Yo.
Darius.
Hello, everyone.
And Kestrel.
Worst for last.
Wow, that's not fair to you. Kane is possibly incapacitated, and DJ, well, we all know where DJ is. He's off running his game. So, we have convened to discuss with the gentleman who attended it, the biggest. Is it still the biggest, the con?
Oh, by far, yeah.
Yeah.
See those crowds?
Several times bigger than the next few combined.
The biggest anime expo in the country. And my only impressions of it was from a very distant bystander and a photo of the floor when somebody said the fire chief was not letting anybody else in the building, which was a terrifying image.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to hear from you guys what, the experience actually was.
Yeah, so I guess we can kind of talk about the logistics of the con and the problems therein before we get into any specifics. Anime Expo is it's sold out, so they did cap it at least. I don't think they. What did you say?
Theoretically, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know if we know what the attendance was or what their attendance cap was. I assumed it would be something like their max attendance the last time they had it, which was 115K. So you figure with that and all the, press, exhibitors, vendors, artists, guests, staff, volunteers, security, convention center staff, all that kind of stuff. Probably roughly 120,000 humans crammed into that building, which, by the way, is significantly smaller than even Otacon's new convention center. And Otacon has 20, 30,000 people, 35, I guess. So yeah, it's tight. That is the thing that happened, apparently. I was already inside, so I wasn't affected. But that sucks for people who were not. There are reports of really bad CO2 levels in the artist alley and people getting sick, and I'm sure lots of people got COVID from it. Being here in LA, I could probably look at the news and see how much our numbers went up just from having 100,000 out-of-towners come in and smush themselves together. Mask policy was not very strictly enforced. Cons I went to last year were very good about all the attendees were wearing masks all the time. All the staff made sure they were. This one, not so much. Sometimes staff weren't wearing masks. There were problems. And yeah, the fact there were so many people there kind of meant that if you wanted to get to anything, you had to just squat in the room all day. And
As usual.
Yeah, so here's the thing that they did. They have a main events room, which is for all the big events. They had a lot of series specific panels, which were fine. I went to a lot of them, and a couple of them had tickets that you had to get ahead of time. They were free, but it ensured that only X number of people knew that they could get in. And that meant that you could go in at any time and you'd be guaranteed a seat. And there were no real issues, which is great. But what they did for everything else in main events is there was no room clear before or after any panels, which meant that if you wanted to go to a panel in main events, you sat around in main events all day. And if you wanted to do other stuff and only go to the one panel later in the day, if you were a Premiere fan, you might get in. But if you weren't, you were probably going to stand in line for an hour or two and then get turned away because the room was already capped from all the people sitting in from the previous panels. Half of them who wanted to be at both, half of them who didn't care about the thing that they just sat through and took up a seat for, but knew that they had to stay there to get into the later one. So that was a thing that happened constantly throughout the weekend. So I think for main events, they should just do the ticketing system for everything. Because otherwise, like I said, if you clear the room, then if you want to be in more than one main event, then you lose out because you're in one and then you don't get to go to the next one because it will have been filled up by the people standing in line outside during the previous panel. If you don't clear the room, then you get what happened this year. So probably just have tickets. You're guaranteed a seat. If you get a ticket, maybe have it so like you have to get there on time and you can allow a small overflow line outside just in case people don't show. And then, people can come in, take up any remaining seats. And if you get there with your ticket and there aren't seats taken up, then you can still get in, whatever. But yeah, that sucked for anyone trying to get to anything ever. Yeah, that was basically my Anime Expo experience.
Well, I can't exactly disagree with you on that. I had a press badge, so and sometimes I've often said that without like in press or industry or exhibitor badge, something like that, Expo has been a problematic convention for an average attendee. Getting into anything has just been very, very difficult. I would have to say, it sounds like with what you just described for main events, it sounds like they took the San Diego Comic-Con method for Hall H, where basically all the stars come in, do their presentation, and leave, and everything. People just kind of squat.
Right.
So I was able to get into a lot of the stuff that I really needed to get into. So they say, hey, I'm here to write about XYZ, and I got into several things like that, and admittedly, it wasn't too bad. I can't really speak to the whole thing that happened with the artist alley, but seeing people type about it on Twitter is quite telling. So that's something that AX really should take a look at and say, hey, maybe we should try to really, alleviate what they're going through if they're really that upset about things. We got into a good bit of news, some fun news, and I got into a couple of private events and everything throughout the weekend. As I wound up doing like about 3 or 4 jobs practically during this whole con. It was wild. I in addition to covering for Fandom Post, which I will have a write up on very soon, I wound up helping as a favor to a friend at A&N. I wound up being a cameraman for one of their correspondents. So basically, so she could have her TikTok and everything. So I'm walking around carrying my camera and my laptop, helping her out a little bit. So that was a trip. And then get to the Right Stuff panel. I wound up being their cameraman. So hey, we need somebody to help with our live stream. Like, okay, all right, I'll hold the camera, do your thing, man. So I wound up doing that.
I feel like this always happens. I remember being at a con where you got roped into being Right Stuff's cameraman.
Yeah, this has happened a couple of times, yes. Hey, Darius is alive, he's breathing, and we actually trust him. Like, okay, shoot, go ahead. I like you guys.
The danger of being reliable.
Yes, it is pretty much. It's a hard luck life for me. Anyway, so yeah, I got in this. It did get me into this one interesting event. This thing, the Gundam private lounge thing inside what they call the AX in Lounge 21 Plus. Bandai Namco, they had these big Gundam statues, and this one where they took it over and were touting their products, most notably the new Gundam game, Gundam Evolution, the 6v6 game. And people could go in and buy models and everything and build them right there and have something to eat and try out their game and everything and listen to a few presentations. It wasn't too bad. It was kind of cool. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying that's neat. So they actually had people just like building Gunplas they were buying right in the room. That's cool.
Yeah, it was. After I get the write up, then I'm gonna make a video of everything I see, and I took some shots of it. It was kind of fun to watch. I don't know how to build models very well. I still got a Gunpla model that I bought like 3 years ago. I still. I'll get to it eventually.
Yeah, I understand that feeling way too well. I've built many a high grade Gunpla in my day, but I have at least like 3 or 4 like master grades or other random stuff just like piling up, and it's like they've been staring at me for years, and I'm like, oh, someday I'll be good enough. But
yeah, mine's just
how it goes.
A basic thing. It's just I'm a RX-78. Could you like get to me? Like, okay,
I'm the main guy. Come on.
Help! Amro needs me. All right, sit there, kid. So, what else? Let's see. I made it to. Let's see. Let's see. I know I ran into you, Castro. I met you and the nice lady at was it Production IG?
Nice lady. Yeah, at the end of that.
Yeah.
Who was the nice lady?
My wife.
Oh, okay.
I always try to give props to her, Yeah. But yeah, and that was fun. It was like, oh, there you are.
Yeah.
We were wondering when we are going to run into each other.
Yeah, I know I'd see you eventually.
We went to Production IG's panel, and let's see, that was fun. I got dang! Aramaki-san to sign my book. I actually got from the what do you call it? What do you call that thing? The Maddox 01 Kickstarter for Animego. If you ordered their Kickstarter for Blu-ray, you had the option of getting this gigantic art book, and I got him to sign it for me. And I was like, yay! I'm in heaven, fanboy heaven, yay!
Yeah, I wish I knew they were just going to do impromptu autographs right after this. Because like Kenji Kamiyama was there, and I'm 20 minutes away. I could have gone and grabbed my standalone complex Blu-rays and brought him over if I knew that he was going to be doing that literally half an hour ahead of time. I guess 40 minutes ahead of time.
Yeah, it was good to see them again, and also Maki from Production IG, president of the Production IG USA. I briefly got to meet the president, I feel bad, but I can't remember his name now.
Ishikawa.
Ishikawa. Thank you.
The I in IG.
The I in IG. Yes.
How did I not know it was like an acronym for the name?
I didn't know that either.
They've mentioned it every time they come there. It's like there's one's the I, one's the G, and yeah, they've come to AX a few times mentioning that. It was kind of cool. The Macross panels.
We'll get into all the news specifically.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, I'll wait to talk. But like, just all in all, I would agree it was a decent con. But that whole fire marshal thing. I can only imagine people who might have felt that they were being completely turned away. After flying and getting their hotel and getting their ticket and feeling like, okay, we're not going to let us in for that day. And I think they cleared it up eventually. I think it was only for about an hour that happened. I will say, like, I got my badge on Thursday. They were handing out the press badges and everything. There's these tents where they hand them outside. And then you could have gotten your wristband to say you're COVID free, or COVID compliant is the best phrase for that. Basically you have your card or you have your vaccination status up to date. That's Best way I could describe it. So that I should have done that then, because the next day on Friday, that's when the entire crowd went and had to hit the COVID compliant line.
Yeah,
And
I would not want to do that on Friday.
Oh yeah, I did. Oh my god! And thankfully, I did when I did it, because like it was relatively short compared to when it was like wrapped all around the building. It was
Yeah.
Yeah. I got footage of that too. It was like, oh my god, really? And then you get to the security checkpoints for people, and I kind of felt bad for the lady who was apparently instructed to not let people with their food and drink, and there was this one particular security staffer who apparently was given bad instructions, and she later posted about it on Twitter saying, I was given bad instructions, I'm sorry, I lost my job doing that. But apparently this was given to her, and she had only been on, I think they recruited her like less than a week before the con. So that happened and everything. So I think they did eventually get that straightened out though. But it was an okay con. I found a cool soul food restaurant next to it. Eventually, I was happy as hell.
What is it called?
It begins with it's a word that it's not normal, that you don't normally hear. I cannot remember the name of this thing for the life of me. But it basically plays 90s hip hop R&B music in the background. You'll see Tupac music videos running, and it's got some great gumbo and biscuits. And catfish nuggets.
Oh, was it in the LA Live area?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We almost went there, but there was too long of a line or something.
Yeah, that food was amazing.
Always love me some good soul food.
Yeah, if I can make it back there, and actually, yeah, you're local now, Castro. You can hit that place, right?
Right, that's what I was asking.
Yeah, definitely go check it out, man. Yeah, and take the wife with you, of course, or she may kill you.
Nope, she's not allowed. She has to stay.
So yeah, and my hotel room. That was basically the reason I was able to go is the other job that I'm part with. I'm bloody hell. I thought I got rid of this thing. Well, I am an industry rep for MomoCon here in Atlanta, Georgia. And basically, they fly me out there so I can do writing for the Fandom Post in part-time while I'm doing these duties. And they put me in this hotel called Citizen M, which is, the best way I could describe it is a high-tech Japanese efficiency, where the bed is like one long narrow passage, and then there's a bed, and everything's high tech. Everything's controlled from your iPad, and basically put that on top of a sexually liberated coffee shop, art museum type place. I have never seen anything like it, but it was the coolest thing in the world. Everybody was chill. You check yourself in, you check yourself out. Everybody's mad nice to you. I love this place. I've never seen anything like it, but I love it. I hope they put me back in there next year. In fact, I got pictures of it. I'll stick that in the vid too. But yeah, that was more or less my LA experience. And then spent a lonely night on the 4th of July by myself, and flew back home. But yes, let's all talk about the news and everything, because I know that I think one of us in prep said that it's probably going to be obsolete by the time we get to doing the show. So,
as always,
I mean that's us. I mean, we're
For the course.
it's not an episode if news doesn't break literally the next day after we record. So,
speaking of news breaking the next hour after we record, yeah, so this is some pre-AX news, just get out of the way. And this will not be the only thing on this that made our last episode immediately irrelevant. This one was right after we recorded. The other one was right after we released the episode. So this one we were talking about Kaguya-sama, obviously, a lot, because Ultra Romantic just finished, and we were talking about the season, and it was great. And so we were talking about how the manga is still ongoing, and no word on if it will be ending anytime soon. So then an hour later, it was announced that Kaguya-sama will be ending. Manga has 14 more chapters as of 2 weeks ago. So probably 12 more chapters now. I did also look it up because we were talking about this when we were talking about the series, about how that felt like the ending of a romantic comedy manga anime that you would expect. But I was pretty sure that there was still a lot more already out. And yes, as of the final chapter count that we will get, what has been adapted so far covers almost exactly half of it. So still a lot more to go.
Wow, only
and
half.
More on that later. But I'll do these in chronological order. But anyway, yeah, that was the first little piece of news from right after we last recorded.
Sounds like we're gonna have to will some more news into existence. See what happens after the pod.
Right. Now, before we get into the other news that we willed into existence, going back to something that Darius was talking about, the biggest, most widespread news of the convention is something that I don't have a lot of investment in yet, mainly because it has not been available for the most part. But very big news, lots of Macross news all around from a bunch of different sources, a bunch of different licensors. I'll go over the real high level and then let Darius dig into it because he certainly knows a lot more about it than me and has a lot more invested. But we're getting, let's see, Macross Frontier and Macross Delta from Nozomi, which is Right Stuff's licensing distribution arm, production arm. This is all in partnership with Big West, of course. We're getting Macross Plus from Anime Limited and Macross 2 from Animego on Blu-ray, and we are also getting Macross 7 from Right Stuff Nozomi Entertainment. And yeah, that's about all I know. Take it away.
Okay, yeah, I went to all the different panels involved on that one. You may hear of Anime Limited. That's a European company. You may hear of them referred to as all the anime, literally. They're a very big distribution arm. This will be their first time distributing in the United States, but they normally primarily do the UK market. I've gotten a couple of Blu-rays and 4K from them because 4K has no region. In fact, I just got the Bell version from them, and also grabbed their Millennium Mattress, both of which are pretty good. And also they did a really good, nice version of Planetes, unfortunately, which has never been released on Blu-ray here, and that's very sad because it's a damn good science fiction show. So yeah, they got their hands on that. Let's see. Then I loved how they teased us on this because there was this Macross, the Big West Macross panel. They were kind of teasing everybody about what news might come, and so initially they announced that Frontier and Delta were going to be coming out from Right Stuff and everything, and one very specific rule is like when you came to the Q&A, they only have the license of Macross projects from 1987 till 2021. In other words, anything before that, with any Macross material produced before then, they could not talk about. They specifically said that, say, don't bother asking. So, my friends, anybody who is interested, who's actually after Do You Remember Love the Movie or the original TV show on Blu-ray, I will have to address that in a second at the end of this segment. But they specifically said not to ask about that. And so, Right Stuff, and Sean Kleckner, the Dark Lord, known who's a massive Captain Tyler fan and likes to put that in as much as possible. Sean, if you listen to this, what's up, man? So yeah, they were just sitting there chilling out, and it's like, yeah, those are the two licenses. So the next day we had the Right Stuff panel, and they basically listed all the licenses that they had for this year, which I believe were 3 Gundam shows, a couple of other things. I have to go back and look at my notes for a minute here. But they announced several other things, and then lo and behold, they announced at the very end of it that they have Macross 7, and actually showed the very first episode of their subtitle version, and it looked really nice. So yeah, they were like, anybody who left early is going to regret this, and so there you go. He up and sits there and whips out the first episode, shows it just right there, and they're like, yeah. So, and I'm not even a 7 fan. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm just 7's never really been my cup of tea, but it was generally fun to watch that. What else? So yeah, those are the Macross properties that people have, and also I forgot the name at the Big West panel. They did mention some figures will be coming out, and some toys a bit. No word on music just yet that I really saw. No word, because I know that music being a staple of the Macross franchise, that's basically something that everybody really wants to know about. So now, to people who really want to know about Do You Remember Love or the original TV show, I got no word about that until I went to the Robotech panel on Monday, where again, the Harmony Gold people, led by Tommy Yoon and Kevin McKeever, they talked about the different products that Robotech was going to be putting out, newer toys, a board game, a role playing game, I believe, couple other things, and they talked about the Blu-ray, the Robotech Blu-ray set and everything, which has a couple of Veritech. Which has a Veritech if you really want to buy it. But the only mention that they gave, somebody did take the time to actually ask, "Hey, what about Do You Remember Love?" Because it's like the one thing. It's one of the big white whales of anime fandom. And Kevin McKeever directly said, there are many moving targets in regards to that one film. As soon as we can actually nail every single one of those targets, we will actually be able to talk about that film and that TV show directly. So make of that what you will, but that was more or less the gist of what he said. So we may have to wait a while. So see, I that is actually one of my absolute favorite films of all time. So like you, I'm in a little pain waiting for it. But I am happy to see some of the other sequels announced and everything. The only one, it just hit me, the only one that's not been announced or touched upon is Macross Zero. Not sure why no one's mentioned that yet. Maybe we'll get that one sooner or later. But yeah, that's how that all played out on the Macross scene. So
I will note that Anime Limited has actually done a few US releases. They did Bartender and Be the Beginning previously in the US.
They did Bartender? Oh wow, that was good. Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
And yeah, they do a lot of G Kids releases at this point are basically just they port over the Anime Limited release. Like the Evangelion discs literally start with all the anime logo and no US company's logo. There's no G Kids on the disc at all. They literally just took the same disc and changed the region code.
Interesting.
That's funny.
Yeah.
To like just hit the export. Just make sure it's set for this region. Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess they'll just this time though, instead of actually mentioning G Kids, they'll just put it out outright.
Yeah. Yeah, which they've done a couple, like I said. Usually with Shout Factory, I don't know if they're going to be involved with this, but yeah, they have been slowly expanding into the US. They got Miles Thomas, who was Crunchyroll's guy forever. He's their marketing guy in the US. Yeah,
he was there to talk about things a little bit. Yeah, Miles was there. He's a really cool guy. I didn't even know Macross went up to 7, but
Honestly, it's one of those like super
It's not
robust
like-
things that
It's not.
eluded me.
No.
It has that name for a reason. Basically, Macross 7 is about like a few decades after the original TV show. They went into space and established these different city states, these asteroids. And basically, this is the 7th one that they're talking about. It's now ruled by Max Genus of the original series, the best pilot of the original series. But one of the characters is one of his daughters.
Gotcha. So it's like the colonies in Gundam.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
And
The series has eluded me for a while, but I would like to get there someday.
which one?
Just any of them across. I have not experienced any of them actually.
Oh,
Yeah, the only thing I've seen is Macross Plus, because that has still been available generally on DVD. And the dub stars Bryan Cranston, so that's neat.
yes, he is a
And that was like the original
manga
directorial debut of Watanabe, and had music by Yoko Kanno and all that. So yeah,
The
it's a good
90s,
little 4-episode OVA to watch.
90s were a fun time. Oh, so much fun. But I'm looking forward to it. Plus, and of the sequel series, Plus and Frontier have definitely been my favorites. And let's see, Macross 2. That is one of the weirdest things to say. I mean, for the longest time, it was taken that it's out of continuity. I mean, literally, Macross 2 was done by a different production team for a while, and the only returning contributor was Mikimoto, the character designer. And then after that, Shoji Kawamori more or less took over the franchise, and there was this video at the end of the Japanese release of Macross Plus. There was this thing called Macross: A Future Chronicle, which listed all of the properties up to that point. And they literally specifically said Macross 2 was in a parallel universe, and it didn't exist. And then recently, the most recent show, Macross Delta, said that apparently Macross 2 did happen, and it is part of the continuity now. I'm not sure how that works, but that's more or less the state of things right now.
We love when the creators don't even know what's canon and what isn't.
Yeah,
So on the latest Star Wars show, anyway,
yeah, exactly.
Oh my goodness.
ooh, did I strike a nerve? Yeah, I did. But yeah, I'm very much. I mean, this is basically a time that I did not ever foresee us ever getting to. So I'm super happy that we are getting to it. I'm very happy that we actually get to see some of the. Excuse me, if we get to see these and my hiccups at the same time, and a lot. I've been collecting anime a few decades, unfortunately. Okay, I'll spell it. I just turned 50 on last Friday, so.
Oh, damn, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Big 5-0, nice.
Yay. So right after this podcast is over is when I expect the heart attack to commence. Nice knowing you guys. I have to make the will out right now for you. Anything that y'all really want, I'll write it out right now.
Okay.
A dangerous suggestion.
Mhm. I need an inventory.
Sure, hold on. I'll send you a memo. Okay.
Nice.
So, this is something that I honestly did not think that we would ever see. So, I'm actually mostly happy, but, I'm still wanting my DYRL. I just want a legal copy. I genuinely do want one. But, reflecting on it, in the last few years, we've gotten stuff, basically white whales I never thought I'd see. Macross, Megazone, Future Boy Conan of all things.
Yeah.
That's a very big white whale. So you got Discotech just every other month they say, okay, we've got a new way to take away your soul, and they whip it out and say, yep, there goes my soul.
We know you want it.
Yeah,
Sign the contract.
yeah, yeah. So, as far as the state of anime goes, for old schoolers, it's still pretty good. There are things I still want, but I'm generally happy. And I'm happy to also. Oh yeah, I actually wound up doing my own panel at AX. Like the first time ever. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I was just wondering how that went.
Okay. I did a panel about classic black anime characters 101. Basically focusing on characters from the 60s to the 90s that existed. Because a lot of people seem to think that like only 2 or 3 black anime characters never had any meaning, and I always run into people that always had that mindset, and I'm like, guys, okay. Yeah, these are it was really cool, a chance to expose people to really good works that either have never been imported to the United States or have just been brought here but have been lost to time and never really get much play and everything. And I had a modest amount until I think I got like about half or 3/4 of the room full, and it was kind of nice. It was nice to be able to spread that kind of knowledge to people. And for those who think otherwise, that it's probably not too many, I actually have enough material for 2 such panels of that. So, assuming they allow me back, I will do an anime characters panel 102. So that was genuinely kind of fun.
Nice.
Yeah. So let's see. And I'm veering off because I should let I'll let y'all talk about more. There's more with the news and everything that I'll be able to touch a little bit on. But yeah, go ahead, man. There's some cool stuff out there.
Yeah. So that other bit of news that immediately invalidated something that we said on the last episode, right after we released that episode. So you're talking about, I don't even know how we got on the subject, but like Birdie Wing like ended with the announcement of another season, and DJ like asked if there were any situations where an anime ended like that, but the second season didn't actually happen. And I brought up Panty and Stocking and its ending, and how it was, kind of a big troll ending, and people were always wondering if we'd ever get more Panty and Stocking. And, the year after it came out, all the guys who worked on it left Gainax and formed Trigger. Trigger has never had the rights to the original series. Anytime people have asked them, didn't seem like it had much potential to actually happen. But Trigger was there at Anime Expo, a few of them, as I think they always are. They always have at least a few of them there. And they're awesome. They're like the discotheque of anime studios. Like, even if you're not interested in their stuff, just their panels and everything that they're involved with are just so much fun because they're so down to earth. And they just know how to put on a good time. So yeah, they had a few panels and events and stuff. And at their big 10th anniversary panel, it was mostly about cyberpunk edgerunners. They premiered the first episode like 2 or 3 months early. They premiered the opening theme, which wasn't in the first episode, but then they released that on Twitter a few days later. And they had just a panel where them and some people from CD Projekt Red all talked about it for almost the entire panel. And then near the end, they announced something that they kind of alluded to when someone asked in their live drawing panel the night previous if we would be getting any more like Gridman stuff. So they announced a new Gridman project where Gridman and Dynazema, whatever it is, would both be in it and would be combining and whatever. I haven't seen any of that franchise, but people are into that, so that was cool. And then they're like, all right, that's our panel. Thanks for coming. And then walked off stage and played this teaser that... So I have been listening to the Panty and Stocking soundtracks constantly for the past 12 years. I love those soundtracks so much. They are like my favorite electronic albums in existence. That's why I've always loved Teddy Lloyd so much for the past 12 years. And he was like my almost highest priority guest the one year I went to Anime Expo previous, and I've seen him in other conventions since then. But I love the work he does so much on those soundtracks. So I listen to these all the time. The second soundtrack is mostly songs that weren't actually used in the series, and most of them are just like remixes of songs from the original. So this teaser that they put up after they mic drop and leave the stage for the panel, it starts with just the Trigger logo on the screen, and you hear some kind of like nondescript rhythmic beating. And to anyone else, that would mean nothing. But because I've listened to all of these songs thousands of times, I was like, oh my God, that is the remix of the Panty and Stocking opening. This is new Panty and Stocking they're announcing. And that's what it was. And there are no details, but it's new Panty and Stocking anime, and it is coming from Trigger. So that's something. We'll see how that goes. As long as the music is on par and we get more of that quality, that is all I care about. I literally don't care if the show is garbage.
You heard the song frequency for like half a second, and you knew what was coming.
Exactly.
I get that.
Yeah. Great. I was not expecting that to be the most exciting thing to me.
You didn't jump up and scream, "Oh my God!"
I was not that guy. I could have been. I did that in my head.
Oh, you missed out, man. That could have been your moment to be like, "It's that!"
Not really my speed, but yeah, exciting nonetheless.
What is wrong, Cat?
Hey, Kate, we're recording a podcast.
I know. The cat is in here screaming at me, and I can't figure out what the hell's what.
Big Panty and Stocking fan.
She is.
Yeah.
She's huge Fanny and Stocking fan, aren't you? No, you can't. Yeah, thanks for walking right up to the mic and meowing in it. You're great.
Management wants a word.
Management definitely wants a word. She's just like ignored me for hours, and now she's just like, pay attention to me. Go, cat, go.
Anyway, anyone have anything to say about this announcement other than Kate talking to her cat for 5 minutes?
I mean,
Sorry.
I mean, aside from like the music and shit, is anybody really into that show?
I fucking love that show.
I mean, people are into everything
Okay.
Trigger adjacent.
That's
so,
true.
yeah.
That's true.
No, I'm sorry. I absolutely love, and I remember. I think it was at Central that they were talking about the dub team was talking about it. They literally, I think it was Funimation. They literally were talking about how they produced the dub. The Japanese asked them to insert more swear words so they could learn more swear words from Americans. And so
That makes sense.
Yeah, so it's actually one of the best damn dubs I've ever heard in my life. I just crack up listening to it every time. And also the Transformers episode is off the chain. I'm a giant Panty Stocking Garter Belt fan. So and I've actually, in just watching the reaction of people who've been into the anime fandom for like a decade or so, just watching them just blow up. It's like, they're going nuts. They're going nuts. Like, some of the older cosplayers, they used to love cosplaying Panty or Stocking, and so they, I get to dress up again. Blah 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 blah. There's still tons of Panty Stocking fans, and a lot of people that were like, "Why isn't this show on Adult Swim? It's perfect for it, even if it's a little too risque at times." And we've always wanted to see that. So I don't know. Maybe this could lead to that finally happening. If the powers that be will it. I guarantee you there are still people that loved Panty Stocking Garter Belt. It's just it's too goofy.
Like that discotheque parallel. Again, if Trigger is involved in anything, there will just be like 10,000 fanboys who are just like, yeah, fuck yes.
Yeah, I'm one of them. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I was really into it when it came out, because I was really excited for the next Gainax Imaishi original. I guess the only other one after Gurren Lagann, other than Gurren Lagann. So, I was really into it when it first came out. It was in the fairly early days of simulcast on Crunchyroll and everything. So that was cool to follow that. And yeah, like I said, I just fell in love with the music. It is a very interesting, creative production. Like, it's not like any other anime. And in addition to just its normal, more Western animation influenced art style, it goes through a lot of different animation and even live action techniques throughout its run. So yeah, it's a good little experimental thing to see the Trigger Boys shitpost in. And yeah, the soundtracks have kept me going for the past 12 years, and it definitely leaves you off wanting more. So I think, distance makes the heart grow fonder. So if this was announced 10 years ago, it would probably be not quite as exciting, but coming now, after Trigger has been their own entity for a decade, getting to see them able to return to that on their own terms should be exciting to see. I'm sure they'll do more creative and original things with it.
It just hit me like now that so much has evolved with the whole in the anime dubbing world, with Funimation's now gone. It's now been morphed inside Crunchyroll, and I really hope if assuming that it is released here in the West, I'm wondering how things will work, because, like I said, the dub really was crafted in a very unique way for your first series. So I'm not sure, and I hope that they'll actually get a chance to. I hope that circumstances will allow the correct personnel to have a chance to really bring that type of quality back for this one as well.
Yeah, their dubbing operations are completely unchanged. All that changed was they swapped out the sign on their dubbing studio to say Crunchyroll, but it's still all the same people in all the same positions.
Still getting emails from Funimation. Somebody, it's like that's
yeah. So
it's kind of weird.
They just put out all the same emails as Crunchyroll now, and I've always been subscribed to both, so I just get the same email every time they put one out from two different sources, which is annoying. But yeah, unless Netflix decides that they want to steal Panty and Stocking and give it some completely unrelated dub, I'm pretty sure we'll be safe on that end. Yeah. Also, Panty and Stocking is about two badass women voiced by Jamie Marchi and Monica Rial, and one of the villains is a pervert voiced by Vic Mignogna. Anyway, moving on to the next piece of news.
Oof.
Yeah. So, next piece of news. Unless anyone legitimately has anything else to say.
You really had to go there. Damn, man. Oh, boy. Yeah, let's move on, bro.
So there was an announcement from Spike Chunsoft. They will be releasing Anonymous Code in the US in 2023 with a steelbook release. Now, if you hear me say that out loud, you might not know what it is, but if you see it written out and you see the semicolon between them, you would know that it's part of the Science Adventure series. This was announced 7.5 years ago and still isn't out in Japan. It might have just come out no, I think it's out at the end of this month in Japan. So ridiculously long production development life cycle for this game. I don't know why it took so long, but it's finally coming out. It's the next official installment in the Science Adventure series. And yeah, we're getting it in the US as well. I don't get many visual novels. I got 3 copies of Steins Gate, I guess, if you count the PC limited edition, the PS3 limited edition, and then the Steins Gate Elite PS4 limited edition. And I played through Steins Gate and Steins Gate Elite one time each, because Steins Gate's like my favorite thing. Other than that, I haven't really played through many visual novels. Muv-Luv is the only other franchise that I've touched. So probably won't get this, but hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's so good that I have to get it, and hopefully it gets a great anime adaptation at some point. But science adventure series outside of Steins Gate and other Steins Gate properties have generally been disappointing. So hopefully not the case, but not getting my hopes up.
Funnily enough, we did end the last episode also talking about light novels and stuff. So in a way, this was another tangential brooding the cauldron and bringing the news up from the depths.
Visual novels, you mean?
Or yeah, visual novels. Yeah, not
Yeah. We were talking about Steins Gate and Muv-Luv and how they're the top rated ones. Then White Album behind that, and Umineko. We were talking about Key Stuff and how their anime have been disappointing, which is apparently continuing to be true this season. And yeah, the
DJ's
science adventure.
Still gonna watch it all. Still gonna watch all of it. DJ's still gonna watch it all the way through, no matter if it's bad or not.
Yeah, so another big event at Anime Expo was the Trigon Stampede panel.
Oh yes, that was beautiful.
Yeah, so they had oh, by the way, another awful thing about Anime Expo, they held some panels in the JW Marriott Hotel, which already kind of sucks because you have to leave the convention center and then potentially go back to the convention center. But also the security there was ridiculously anal. You had to take everything out of your bag. I was carrying around my big old $550 Gurren Lagann Blu-ray collection that comes in like 10 layers of packaging, because I had gotten that signed by Yo Yoshinari earlier that day, and I was just carrying it around because I didn't think it'd be an issue. They made me take it out of like every layer of packaging.
Oh God!
Jeez.
While holding up the line and trying to get into this panel. But anyway, the panel itself was fine. They had, big screens so you could see everything if you weren't close enough. If you got in there late because security was assholes. They had Naito there, which is a big deal. Normally you don't get your original mangaka. He seems a lot more, public facing than most.
Yeah, he used to show up to a lot of panels all the time, and he is one of the few mangaka who's just like, I'm here, let's do this.
Right, yeah. He's just like willing to be a normal guy, not a recluse like the rest. So that's cool. He was a nice addition to that, obviously. And they had some people from Orange there, producers and whatnot, some art director or something. So we didn't know much about Trigon Stampede prior to this, except that it was going to be new Trigon anime from Orange. I think that was pretty much all we knew. So yeah, this revealed a lot about it. We got a trailer, we got the cast, we got the staff. No word on English dub yet. Like I noted when it was originally announced, they did particularly note that like it was going to be brand new staff, brand new cast, completely fresh start, taking nothing from the original anime. So, Vash is different in Japanese. Whether they'll be different in English or not, which again is really just Johnny Young Bosch because they already recast the rest of the cast for the dub in Badlands Rumble. But yeah, whether Vash will be the same in English remains to be seen. But we got Yoshitsugu Matsuoka as Vash in the new adaptation. It's a very different adaptation, stylistically, obviously, with it being full CG, very different kind of designs. They still haven't really talked about what it is. Like, we don't know if it's a TV series or not. We don't know what the storyline is, even. All of the material so far have pretty much focused around Vash's backstory and a little bit of the modern day, but you don't see the girls at all. So yeah, we don't know.
There were a couple of, besides like, there were a couple hints that it's a prequel. The one being that, the girls are nowhere to be seen. But one of the teaser images was, like the Vash Wanted poster. but it didn't say 60 billion. It said 6.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh,
I think
okay.
it says
Yeah.
wanted alive instead of dead or alive as well.
Yeah. So
Gotcha.
that all seems to be pointing towards prequel.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see Vash before he meets up with the girls. Yeah, I'm still not 100% sold on the style. By the way, they said like the reason that they wanted to do a CG adaptation, because obviously that's everyone's question, is because they thought that the manga and the previous anime were perfect. So there's no need to retread. So they want to give it a completely different kind of life now. Whether or not that's true, or they just happen to hook up
I
with
have
all-
no problem with this for the sheer reason that they went to Orange.
Yeah.
Orange is doing it, and it's like, okay, they're the best in the business at CG anime, so I'm cool with that.
Yeah. There were like some early scenes in the trailer where I'm like, that kind of looks like ugly anime CG. So I'm not completely convinced that there will be none of that, which is unfortunate. But for the most part, it was, very stylistic, definitely using their medium and their technology to their advantage for their new aesthetic. So yeah. I'm certainly looking forward to it, but I'll have to see, a full episode before I have any real opinion.
Or whatever it is. Vash
Or,
is
yeah,
very
exactly.
pretty. Vash is very pretty.
And that's all that
He's a
matters.
very pretty boy.
Mhm.
And the whole internet was like, we were all laughing at how pretty Vash is. But he's always been pretty, so I mean that's not too surprising, but he's
Now
so
he's just
fucking pretty.
E-boy pretty.
He's just super pretty now. He's like, oh my god. You're in a boy band. Get out of here.
I was pleasantly surprised by the visual aesthetic from the brief trailer, mainly because when we were talking about Orange last time, I was pretty adamant that if they were going to do it in full CG, they should take notes from people like Arc System Works, do something almost like Guilty Gear style, and I kind of got those vibes from parts of the trailer, so yeah, I'm also looking forward to it, and yeah, I don't mind the complete departure and being like, oh, let's respect the old stuff, leave it how it was, and give it a fresh coat of paint. So yeah, I'm excited to see what they do with it.
Yeah, direct remakes usually don't turn out too hot. So the fact that they're just like, yeah, cool, let's do this shit. Let's just do whatever. I'm cool with that.
2 of my 3 favorite anime of all time are direct remakes, so I disagree. But
let me rephrase that. Most of the things that I like a lot that they just do direct remakes of don't turn out too hot.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. I think it could have warranted a 2D remake because, like those favorites of mine, the original anime was not complete and it was not a direct adaptation. So yeah, the fact that not only is it a completely different style aesthetically, but it's maybe not the same story and maybe completely original if it's like an extended flashback prequel. Yeah, it'll be something new and interesting to see. But if it's all prequel, then maybe all the people who have been clamoring for like a maximum adaptation for 20-25 years will be disappointed.
But maybe it'll do really well and they'll just keep going.
Yeah.
So.
Hopefully. Right. Next piece of news. So Crunchyroll had their panel. They announced a bunch of licenses and stuff as they normally would, simulcasts, dubs, stuff like that. But they also announced a couple of brand new anime adaptations that they will be on the production committee for. One of them is Solo Leveling, and one is Tomo-chan is a Girl, which I know nothing about. But Solo Leveling is a Korean manhwa that I have read a few volumes of, and I'm a big fan of. And it's going to be animated by A1 Pictures, and the music is going to be by Hiroyuki Sawano, which are both very promising additions to just having that source material be adapted into an anime in the first place. That's coming in 2023. Obviously, it'll be simulcast on Crunchyroll. So yeah, excited about that. I don't know if anyone else has any relationship to these titles.
I have a buddy of mine that's been trying to get me to read Soul Leveling for a long time, but I don't know. I always put a lot of the manhwas on the back burner just because I didn't use like the Webtoons app too much. But I'm excited to see this for sure. And as like Sawano music is always fun, even though it's kind of like the same.
Yeah.
Every single song is the same, but
yeah.
I mean it's epic, so I guess that works.
There's so many times, and this happens with Yuki Kajiota too, where I'll be listening to just like all my music on shuffle, and I have a bunch of soundtracks, and someone will be like, "Oh, what anime is this from?" And I'll be like, "I have no idea. It's Sawano. It could be from this or this or this."
Yeah, that's true. I'm also equally unfamiliar with Tomo-chan, but it has a very adamant and large following for the manga because there's people, and unlike our manga, it was always at the newest chapter was always at the top with like thousands of upvotes and stuff. So apparently pretty popular. So to wait and see what that's all about.
Yeah, I think Solo Leveling is the only manhwa I've actually read because it's the only one of the ones that I've seen really highly rated that has been released physically. Because like by the time I, heard a bunch about Tower of God, it was already like hundreds of chapters deep, and the webtoon experience is like weird because you just scroll through all the pages vertically.
I hate that. I hate that format so much.
So weird.
Hey, what?
Yeah.
It's like I don't like it at all.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I never got into like reading Tower of God or any of the other ones. But Solo Leveling has been released in actual physical full color volumes by Yen for the past year or two. So I've been collecting those. So yeah, I am invested in the property. I'm excited to see it get an adaptation. I was disappointed by the Tower of God adaptation compared to the hype that I had heard. So hopefully this is better.
I think it fared better than God of High School.
I mean, yeah. But I didn't hear like, this is like the best thing ever beforehand either. It also definitely was not a good adaptation in terms of pacing and like writing, how they structured the series. It was very well directed and animated, but it decided to just like go completely off the rails near the end.
It kind of struggles from that age-old anime watching thing where people are like, "Oh, don't worry, by episode like 49, it'll be great," because they're like, "Oh, this was just the prologue." It's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, they still say that
Yeah.
today.
2 years. Yeah.
Yeah, it still happens.
Yeah.
And with God of High School, I don't know if this is true, but what it felt like is that we got, chapters 1 through 9 adapted in episodes 1 through 9, and then chapter 48 all of a sudden, or chapters 10 through 48 adapted in episode 10.
Ugh.
Yeah, it was a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully this is better and longer. Like, I think that's part of the problem is that Crunchyroll's last 2 webtoon anime were both like 12 episodes. And I think Tower of God just ended before it could get really good. And God of High School tried to cram too much in, which are 2 classic problems that happened.
Yeah.
All right. And that was basically the like big announcements from the anime industry that I had from AX. AX themselves also made an announcement at closing ceremonies, which is that they will have another Anime Expo in pretty close to the same place, Ontario, California. And that's going to be in November. It's called Anime Expo Ontario. I assume the only reason this exists is to try to spread people out between the 2 conventions. But yeah, I'll see if I end up going to that. I assumed that I would be going to Anime NYC in November, but if they're like 2 consecutive weekends and I live here, as long as they have comparable guests and events, I'll probably go there instead or in addition to Anime NYC. But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I signed up for NYC. I'm going to try to get in there somehow. It'll be my it'll be my end, the end of my con year. Yay!
Also, being in LA in November versus New York City in November is a lot more enticing.
Yeah.
I can't fault you there on that one, man. Trying to get into the convention during November last year was interesting.
Yeah. Especially since I don't have to deal with that shit ever anymore. Like, voluntarily going back to the Northeast in November is like, I'd have to be crazy. But they've got a lot of good shit there, so I don't know. We'll see.
Very good Italian food, at least.
I meant the convention, but yes, New York City.
Oh, I still gotta think about those meatballs. Oh my god. God. As far as AX, that's. I can't think of really too many big things. The Trigon thing was quite interesting, to say the least. It was fun watching. It's like you got this show that's like what, been 15 years roughly.
25 years.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
1999, I believe, was when it came.
98. This is coming out in 2023, so it'll be exactly a quarter century.
I think, oh my goodness. Wow. And people,
this was the, I think Outlaw Star, Bebop, and Trigon were all 98, three big space westerns.
Yep, everybody was going crazy still for it, Now we're seeing this, we see in the trailer, we're as opposed to them building up to the relationship between Knives and Vash, we're seeing they're literally starting off with what happened and how Knives became a bad little bastard and stuff like that. And I can't wait to see it. I mean, they basically, like you guys said, they did flat out say, Trigon's a masterpiece. We can't do any better, so we're just going to do it different. And I was like, okay, I can understand that particular mentality if you're doing that type of thing. But apparently, Night Owl was very much involved with behind the scenes, helping with the script and story development, things like that. And he's had Trigon on the brain. Like every time he comes to the U.S., he still has Trigon on the brain. So apparently, there's a lot that he wants to say more about it. So yeah. We forgot the other. There's another big franchise that got announced. That got a revision. I'm not sure if it's already in your notes or not. So we had Panty Stocking, we had Trigon. They also apparently announced that there's a new Bleach coming.
Oh yeah, I mean that's been known for a while. Nothing new was revealed in that panel. It was just kind of a promotion piece.
Oh, okay. Everything old is new again.
In terms of the quarter century wait for new space westerns, we got the 3D Trigun, we got live action Bebop.
Oh, so
which got an Emmy.
This is my big brain guess that we're gonna make come to life. Outlaw Star K-drama. just you wait.
That would be something right there.
Oh, God.
I don't know what kind of something, it would be something.
But something, yeah.
Oh wow, Bebop really did get an Emmy nomination.
Yes, it did.
Wow.
What?
Yes, it did.
For the opening.
Oh.
Literally the only good thing about it.
Okay.
And literally the only good things about that opening were taken from an opening that's been around for 25 years.
It's just a rehash of the... Okay.
The one thing they stuck to from the original.
Yeah.
Like, not even a very good rehash of it. Anyway.
No, it's not.
Oh.
Like they just took the original opening, which everyone loves, and then just threw some live action scenes on it that make you immediately realize that this was not going to work in live action. And that's the opening.
Yeah.
I guess I'll save that to the end. Actually, there's another piece of news I'll add on to this. But yeah, the other panels I went to were mostly just those kind of like, I feel like this is most of AX, or I guess just the stuff I go to. especially like main events, and when they don't have any big Japanese guests doing concerts or their own kind of panels or whatever. It's mostly just like, we're going to promote this one show that everyone loves. And I love those shows, and I went to a lot of those panels, and they were all right. For the most part, they weren't very substantial. The Bleach one was actually better than most, other than Trigon. Like, we knew we were getting a bunch of new stuff from that. The Bleach one, though, they premiered the new visual. They did that with Trigon as well. The new trailer, I think the first trailer for this new arc, which had a lot of content and looked pretty good. They had a bunch of messages from Japanese staff and cast. Ichio's Seiyu is fucking hilarious. He was hamming it up so hard. And they also had some footage of Kubo, who is not the Naito totally like public guy. So getting a bunch of videos from him was pretty unique. And they kind of alluded to the fact that he would be involved with this pretty heavily as well. And they didn't say this, but anyone who read the last arc of Bleach could kind of get the impression that his editors were making him drag it out for way longer than it should have been. And then the executive staff made him wrap it up way quicker than he wanted to, because it's like really drawn out and then rushed at the end. So he did confirm in a message that they presented here that he would be like contributing more content to the end of the series that didn't make it into the manga.
That's nice.
So that's cool. I hope they cut out some of the bullshit, because there's a lot of bullshit. And the last arc that did get adapted into an anime was, unnecessary and not a great arc. But I appreciated that it went pretty quickly because they knew the anime was getting canceled. So hopefully this improves upon it all, because although I'm like mildly excited for this new Bleach arc, it was a pretty bad arc, so I don't know why I am. So hopefully they make it better.
Wow.
Yeah, the end left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. Just like the whole, like when you said there was bullshit, it's like the final boss, his whole thing was just being bullshit. It's just like, oh,
Wow.
I thought this happened, but then I saw the future, and then I
many
did the other
assholes.
thing. Yeah, ugh. Yeah, that was something. So yeah, hopefully Kubo gets a good amount of like you said, added content, but also just like editing it down in a more consumable format.
Yeah, it's been like 5 years since it ended or something. You can take that time to reflect and figure out how things could have gone better.
Did they happen to tease any kind of Burn the Witch stuff? Because I know they're like kind of connected universe thing going on, but I didn't know if they were going to try to tie them in at all.
I don't think there was anything confirmed about new content. Viz like announced the, Blu-ray and stuff. Not sure about any new content though.
Okay.
I'm sure the new Bleach anime will end with a teaser for more Burn the Witch, and then we'll get that fucking
True.
Bleach cinematic universe forever.
Bleach multiverse.
Yeah, everyone needs their shared universes and multiverses. Yeah, and what Darius said about Naito being involved in the new Trigun definitely makes sense, especially if it is kind of anime original, to have him, flesh out more of the backstory and Vash before Meryl and Millie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for that. I really can't. Oh, did you get to make it to Chainsaw Man?
Yep, I went to that panel. That was another very exciting but kind of unsubstantial panel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everyone's hyped for Chainsaw Man. I was hyped to be in that environment with all those really excited people.
Yeah,
and they had, that was one of those ones where so this was Monday, where almost nothing happened. It was, I think the only things I really went to were the Made in Abyss premiere, which was just 2 days before it was broadcast in Japan. and the closing ceremonies, which fucking sucked.
Oh wow!
But so I had made an Abyss and then Chainsaw Man as the first two things in main events. So I was going to be there first thing anyway and sit through them both. But you could tell that like half the people, probably 3/4 of the people in the Made in Abyss premiere were just squatting for Chainsaw Man.
Oh wow!
Because like when you see people like looking at their phones with giant chainsaws coming out of their head through the entire and you're like, oh, I wonder what they're here for. After 3 days of getting turned away from main events panels because they didn't sit there for the previous panel.
This is why you room clear.
Yeah. Or like I said, just ticket everything. If people want to stay in there and they have tickets for the later event, fine. If they don't and they just want to show up for their event, fine. They'll get a seat. They have a ticket. They're free anyway, so you don't need to worry about that. But yeah, the Chainsaw Man panel, like the Jujutsu Kaisen panel the previous day or whenever it was, it had the CEO of MAPPA, the writer of both series, Hiroshi Seko, who has written like every great anime adaptation in the past few years, basically. Like he's doing Chainsaw Man, he did Jujutsu Kaisen, Attack on Titan, Vinland Saga, Mob Psycho, etc., etc., etc.
What a resume.
Yeah. And that's all within the past like 3 years. Also there's a Mob Psycho panel where they premiered the new opening, which is awesome as always, and announced that the first 2 episodes will be premiered at Crunchyroll Expo in San Jose like 2 months before the Japanese premiere. So hopefully I make it out to that. I'm still waiting to see if anyone else I know is going so that I can split a room. But anyway, the Jujutsu Kaisen and Chainsaw Man panels were basically MAPPA CEO, Hiroshi Seko, the writer, and then like one representative producer for each property. And both were fairly unsubstantial, very much like, prepared Japanese PR Q&A, very scripted, not really willing to let anything be announced or revealed. The Chainsaw Man panel, they were even like, we really hoped that we could come to you with something new to reveal here, but we didn't. So look forward to that eventually, maybe. I don't know. So yeah, basically nothing from Chainsaw Man.
Yeah, mostly we're talking about the somebody asked if it was going to be censored, and apparently everybody was going. That's like, no, this will not be censored. We're going to make it even more brutal and graphic than the manga, I think. And they were really touting that and the approach that the person doing the music. Apparently, he's like a very big deal.
Yeah, Kensuke Ushio. He's one of my favorite composers as well. He's done like most of Yuasa's stuff. He's done like Ping Pong, Devilman Crybaby, a bunch of others. And then he's also done on the opposite end of the spectrum, all of Naoko Yamada's stuff since A Silent Voice. So yeah, very eclectic resume on that guy. He's one of my favorite composers, so I'm excited about that as well.
Okay. Apparently, I didn't realize just how popular Chainsaw Man was. Apparently, the latest manga came out yesterday, and everybody wouldn't shut up talking about it. And I'm like, okay, why is it? Okay, I'll have to go check this manga out one day. And instead, I whipped up the teaser for Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, which is still the funniest thing in the world. Really, just go look it up sometime, and you'll realize that movie could never live up to what happens in that teaser. It just can't. And I won't tell you what happens. The teaser is just that awesome. But I just kept looking at that instead of this whole Chainsaw Man thing. So one day I'll actually sit down and actually try to read it and everything. But I saw a bunch of the cosplayers, so I knew it was popular as hell. Although I would think that having a chainsaw for a forehead would be a little self-defeating, but
it is it's got to be one of the worst big hits to have a big cosplay following. Like having a giant fucking chainsaw coming out of your head is not the most practical cosplay. But yeah, it has to be the most popular anime that doesn't exist yet. Like probably for something that's never had an adaptation of any kind, there can't be anything as popular as Chainsaw Man is already.
Yeah, when the Jujutsu Kaisen like fandom exploded when the anime came out, I was like, while Chainsaw Man was still going, I was like, oh my god, when this anime comes out, I don't even know what's gonna happen to the internet. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's shown as much through how crazy the fandom is. Because like you said, the first chapter of part 2 came out the other day, and it was wild. But not even a full day after the chapter release, there are people making fan animations of the chapter. There are people making already like full-on cosplays, like so much crazy fan art. People are like staking their claim for who they're gonna simp from the first chapter. It's just a wild fan base. It's gonna go goblin mode when the anime comes out.
Yeah, I would like to catch up with that manga eventually. I don't know why I didn't get into it when it was first running. But yeah, I think like Chainsaw Man was as popular as like a reasonable anime hit once the trailer was released. Like that little teaser, we still don't even have a date for the anime, but as soon as that was out, it was just the biggest thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, excited for that. Hopefully at Crunchyroll Expo they have like, I don't know, a date at least, like at the bare minimum. We're still hoping to get it in October, obviously, but the fact that we still don't have any confirmation is kind of concerning.
Yeah.
When is Crunchy
supposed to come out in the fall or whatever?
Expo again?
Crunchyroll Expo is first weekend of August, so pretty soon.
So it's like right after Otakon.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and I can't make it to Otakon this year, so that's another reason I'm hoping I can go to Crunchyroll Expo.
Yeah, I'm hitting Otakon. And then right before it is San Diego, and geez, man,
yeah,
this is like,
you going to that?
Oh hell no, I don't have that much. I don't have that much money.
Yeah, I considered going in later years, not this year, but you know, it's only 2 hours away from me now, so I'll think about it.
Yeah, I can't do it right now, man. It's like, I mean, this okay. It starts off with AX, and then 2 weeks later, let's say, San Diego, then Otakon, then Crunchy. Yike!
Yeah, all within like a month. Yeah.
And gas being what it is, no, can't do it. I mean, yike. And there's actually this one con I really wanted to go check out, and I can't. I couldn't get a badge for it because it's apparently like it's really hard to get into. It's like, dang it.
What's that?
It's called DreamCon. It's going on this weekend. And somewhere, I want to say it's in Dallas or something like that. I really wanted to check it out. But who knows? One day. And like, let's see. This past week it was BlurredCon, which so dang many cons, all in this one little cosmic cheese thing we call the month of July. I mean, jeez.
Yeah, having AX, San Diego Comic-Con, Otakon, and Crunchyroll Expo in just over a month of each other is definitely extreme.
Yeah. Yeah, you just gotta pick, you choose one or two at the most, and hope your wallet survives. And then after that, you wait for the next discotheque announcement, and then you go, shit. Okay, they got the rest. Okay.
Spoiler alert, your wallet did not survive.
No, it did not. It's over, Prime.
All right. If we have any other thoughts on AX, we can circle back to them afterwards if we have time. But run through some more announcements outside of AX. So Stranger Things is a small show, very obscure, not many people are into it. So that the second half of 4 seasons came out, and the next season is going to be the final one. and the creators have announced a new production studio under the Netflix umbrella called Upside Down Pictures that's going to be working on some Stranger Things spin-offs, but also several other projects for Netflix, including a new live-action Death Note adaptation. This one will be a series, but we are still getting the live-action Death Note movie sequel also from Netflix. So that's weird because it's going to be completely unrelated to that.
Netflix
Yeah.
doesn't know what they're doing anymore. Let's just be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of surprised that a new live action anime manga adaptation got greenlit from Netflix after Bebop bombed and, their shares went down, their subscriber count went down. They canceled so much nerd stuff.
Fired so many employees.
Yeah,
Fired so many employees.
yeah, a lot of the.
I think they literally changed the head of animation. at
Yeah, the
Netflix.
anime overseer, he was laid off, and a bunch of he announced that one day before AX. It blew my mind. I'm like, wow, really? So yeah, I can never tell. But then the thing is, though, during that same period, we just got a new Bastard anime that everybody's liking.
Okay, so another panel that I sat through was the Warner Brothers Japan panel, which was right after
how
Production
was
IT in the
that?
same room. It was just like the Trigger panel was mostly Cyberpunk. This panel was mostly Bastard, and man, it looks like shit to me. Maybe I would feel differently if I watched a few episodes, and maybe it's like so bad it's good. But God, that's fucking cringe. Yeah, other than that, they announced like Stone Ocean's coming back in September, which is, slightly earlier than it could have been, which is nice. They released a new trailer for that. That's kind of all I remember. They talked about one or two other Warner Brothers properties that I didn't really care about, but it was mostly Bastard.
Okay.
And I kind of wish I didn't sit through that.
Ouch.
The fact that they focused on Bastard and not Stone Ocean is sad.
Yeah.
Stone Ocean literally being in Netflix jail right now. It's
Netflix jail.
I think it's probably because they know that everyone's there for JoJo, so they got to save that to the very end, and then the properties that they want to actually promote, they're going to fill up the rest of the time, so people have to sit through them and, get interested in them. That seems to be the strategy here.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, I think they started off with being like, there's JoJo stuff at the end. Now here's 45 minutes of Bastard.
Oh my goodness.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Glad I had something else said.
But yeah, the Death Note live action movie, I guess, did well enough, probably mostly from like hate watching. Because
They got
not only is it
Morbius.
getting a sequel, huh?
They got Morbius. It's just like, oh look, everyone's laughing about it. It did great, right?
Right.
More.
They're like, people love this. It's like, no.
Re-release.
They're literally making fun of you.
I think they know that people hate live action Death Note. This might be like, they're doing the sequel to get more hate watch and meme watch. And then I guess they're doing the Duffer Brothers adaptation. Or I don't know how involved they're going to be. They're producing it. So they're not necessarily like writing or directing it. But they're probably doing that one in the hopes that they can do it right this time. But it's very bizarre to have two separate simultaneous live action adaptations of this property. But I guess if anything was going to have it, it would be Death Note, because Death Note has like 100 unrelated Japanese live action adaptations already between series and movies.
They should honestly just let what's his name play Ryuk in both of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe, yeah.
Yeah, it's like how, you don't cast anyone but J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah, exactly.
This is true. This is very true. So, by the way, do we talk about just regular sci-fi stuff, not just anime on here, or is that strictly anime?
Well, we can talk about it at the end if we have time. I want to get through the anime.
Okay, go for it.
So, speaking of lots of things happening in a short period of time, within, I don't
Hard
know,
swerve.
within 24 hours, we had 3 or 4 very notable deaths.
Ow!
Yeah.
That sucks.
Only one of them very directly related to anime. 2 others in the entertainment world, and then 1 other in the Japanese world. But yeah, the first of these was the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh, Kazuki Takahashi, was found dead in snorkeling gear off the Okinawan coast by the Coast Guard. He was 60 years old. They did just confirm through the autopsy that yes, it was drowning. That was the cause of death. They don't suspect foul play or anything. So yeah, that's very sad. I haven't been, invested in Yu-Gi-Oh in recent years, but it was a very important part of my life as a kid. The cards and the manga, and the original manga by Takahashi is like very diverse and very dark and violent in its early years before it was just card games all the time. And his art style really evolved and got really clean over the years. And obviously he originated the biggest card game franchise of all time, which is a huge deal. And so he's pretty legendary. So very sad to hear that happened.
It was cool seeing how much outpour there was from fans after the news broke, because yeah, like you said, most of us are connected to the original card game and TV series. I don't know how many people continued to watch 5Ds and whatnot,
Right.
all these crazy motorcycle spin-offs and whatever. But
Yeah, we're up to like the 8th one now.
yeah, but
I haven't heard about anyone caring about. I think like there's diminishing returns with each subsequent spin-off. Like I hear about each one less and less.
I don't think he was involved with almost any of them, though.
Yeah, I don't think so.
He was just collecting that fat paycheck.
Exactly.
Yeah, true.
Okay, people, don't scuba or snorkel alone. Don't swim
Ugh.
alone.
Shit's
Bad
scary.
things happen.
Seriously. Yeah. The other pieces of news, by the way, while we're talking about them, fucking Shinzo Abe was assassinated by a gun in
Oh my
public in
god,
Japan.
I completely
is
forgot about that with literally
insane.
everything else going on. That was Jesus Christ. I think my brain just couldn't handle that information and just like, no, I'm gonna avoid this.
Yeah,
That was
like if that was
right on TV.
America, then it would be a Tuesday. But it's Japan. Like Jesus Christ.
Crazy.
Yeah, my friend was watching on TV while she lives in Japan. She was watching and she was like, "Did that just happen? Holy sh!"
Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I
Like-
was.
With
Go
a
ahead.
homemade sawed-off
Mhm.
shotgun.
Yep,
Like,
homemade.
As you do here in Japan, because you can't just buy that at a grocery store.
Nope, oh, that's only in here. That's only here. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that was the link, though, is that within 24 hours, there was Takahashi's death and then Abe. And a lot of people who know about Takahashi's, at least his like public things that he would say often, he was very anti-Abe in that regard. So it was a very weird lineup of deaths to happen.
Yeah. And then also within those 24 hours, in between those two, unrelated to Japan, but related to entertainment, James Caan died. And then the next day, Tony Sirico, who's Polly in Sopranos, died. And James Caan is obviously Sonny in Godfather.
Many thanks.
And we had Ray Liotta earlier this year. So just crazy. All the gangsters.
All the gangsters, yeah.
I had just finished watching The Sopranos 2 for the first time
Same.
by the end of, a couple months ago.
Same, yeah.
Yeah, so
I liked it.
it was wild.
Yep.
And I actually dressed up as Polly for Halloween last year as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
James Caan, I like
My
to
last invitation.
think of him for Michael Mann's Thief, which is still one of the most amazing things Michael Mann has ever done. Yeah, so I have to watch it for that, and Alien Nation, the most goofball but sci-fi film that you'll ever see, and he has like this gun that basically blows off you either maim or kill with the 454 Castle. You don't wound. But yeah, so yeah, between him and Mandy Patinkin as Detective San Francisco, it's almost unorthodox buddy cop film you'll ever see, but it's a wonderful thing. And there's this completely unrealistic Arnold Schwarzenegger movie called Eraser, and James Caan winds up being a villain in it, and even just him just hamming it up a bit against Arnold. He's so much fun. He's just so wonderful to watch. So yeah, hearing that James Caan was gone, I was like, oh man, I kind of felt I was pretty bummed by that one too. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I've been very deep into The Godfather rewatches and just fanning out over it for the past few months because it was the 50th anniversary. And so there's been a bunch of celebrations about that. It came back into theaters. It got a 4K Blu-ray.
I need to go buy that.
It got a drama series about its making called The Offer. So it's like 10 plus hours about just the making of The Godfather, just dramatized for Paramount Plus. I went to the Paramount studio tour. I'm getting the Academy Museum limited edition vinyl later this year. I'm going to the Godfather live orchestra performance at the Hollywood Bowl.
Oh, nice.
Later this year. Or no, that's not the Hollywood Bowl. That's at the Dolby Theater. So yeah, I've been, very deeply into that, and it's my favorite movie of all time. So that's why I've been so into it. And I got a Godfather shirt from the Paramount Studio tour, and the first time I wore it, an hour later, it was announced that James Caan had died.
Wow.
So yeah, that it's been very on the forefront of my mind lately. And since it is 50 years old, a lot of people that were involved in it are no longer alive.
Dang, who is left?
So hopefully, we've got Coppola, Pacino, Keaton, Duvall. I think those are the four big ones I can think of.
Talia Shire should still be around, right?
Talia Shire. Yeah.
Yeah, I think most everybody else is pretty much gone. Oh wow.
I guess since this is an anime podcast, ostensibly, and we're talking about James Caan, I should mention that he did voice the bamboo cutter in the dub of The Tale of Princess Kaguya.
Really? Okay, now I'm going to have to go back and look at that again. I love that film.
Yep. He was the adoptive father of Kaguya.
Oh, wow.
Crazy character.
And speaking of Kaguya, back to some Kaguya-sama War news.
That was an amazing segue right there. That was great.
Thank you. Yeah, so we got the announcement that there was going to be more anime. We just didn't know what form it would take. So now it has been confirmed that it will be an anime film, which, it has pros and cons. We got that with Demon Slayer, which then got broken up into a TV arc. We got it from Made in Abyss, which was, kind of unique because we've got a new season of Made in Abyss now, but you have to have watched that third movie for it to make any sense. So this might be more along those lines. It was also confirmed that it would get a TV broadcast shortly after its theatrical run. So hopefully that means that Crunchyroll can just, get it over to us as soon as possible, and we won't have to worry about missing out on that. But yeah, it will be the adaptation of the next arc of the manga, which is called the Never Ending First Kiss, which is adorable, and I love it, and I want it now. But yeah, that is confirmed now. So excited to see that.
Never ending too much tongue.
Yep. Yeah, so that is all the anime news I had. If you had anything else about AX or other nerd news or other things to discuss?
Oh, let's see. Well, I woke up this morning. The first thing I did was watch the final episode of Ms. Marvel, and
Oh yeah, I haven't gotten to that yet. I just finished work before this recording.
oh man, it's different from the comic, but just as adorable. I absolutely love Kamala Khan, and I think Disney did a wonderful job redoing this character, and I can't wait for her to show back up. She's supposed to team up with both Carol Danvers and Monica Rambeau in the Marvels film. So I'm looking forward to all three of them getting together and seeing what they do. And I'm not sure who they're going to fight, but it'll be fun. But yeah, Ms. Marvel just ended today, and I was just like, oh, this kid's adorable. And she's a complete Marvel. Apparently, she's a gigantic Marvel fangirl on top of that, even before joining the cast of the MCU. So it's fun to watch. So yeah, that just ended last week. Star Trek: Strange New Worlds ended, and that's also been a really kick-ass show. As somebody pointed out once, it's one of the few times outside of maybe Discovery that the first season of a Star Trek show didn't suck. And I was like, damn, they're right. It's like, yeah, this and Discovery are the only two times that's happened. But yeah, they're kind of doing small callbacks to the original series and everything, but it's a really, really is a kick-ass show. And there's one episode where we're basically referring to Captain Pike as Captain Harlock. If you watch the show, you'll understand. So yeah, let's see. Stranger Things. I don't know very much about. Apparently, there's been some divide on how people feel about the ending. Man, Thor: Love and Thunder. Massive divide. You either really like it or you really hate it. I've noticed there's no in between on that one.
It was alright.
People are just like really kind of heel turning on Taika Waititi.
Yeah, I noticed, man.
With some of it is definitely justified, because there's that whole thing that's been going around where people online are talking about how underpaid like visual effects artists are and like video editors, and then literally days after this discussion is happening, they post a video of Taika Waititi and Tessa Thompson watching clips from their movie making fun of the video editing, and it's like, bruh,
wow.
How could you do something like that?
That's
so petty.
You're the director. You tell the editor what to do.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, that's on you, dude. You're at the top of the food chain.
Yeah.
The editor is just following your instructions at that point, unless you gave them complete like free reign, which that never happens, especially with auteur directors. So
yeah, that was pretty cringe. So
wait, so somebody edited that together?
No, they watched they watched clips from Thor and just like laughed at the video editing that the movie was made with. It's just like straight up.
Wow. Wow, that's messed up.
So
as a video editor myself, that's a messed up thing to hear.
it really is. The only other piece of anime news I have,
I actually just added one too.
that is pertainable to me is that Mashal, Magic and Muscle,
that's right.
got an anime announcement, and as I've been covering the manga, that was exciting to hear. They didn't really show off or say much besides, I think A1 Pictures is going to be doing the adaptation.
That's promising.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. The manga is seemingly approaching its finale, which I think it's had a good run, and I hope it can like wrap up nicely, because they did kind of start leaning more into the battle shonen than the comedy aspect of it, and I think it was more for the worse. But the first arc, which will probably be what's animated, will be some top-notch comedy, so I'm looking forward to when the anime comes out.
Yeah, it's definitely a big piece of news I neglected. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other small piece of news that I forgot to mention before, speaking of the Emmy nominees, the Star Wars Visions short, The Duel, did get a nomination. So obviously, Ranking of Kings did not. But this is maybe the first anime Emmy nomination since Afro Samurai. And it's specifically a short by the character designer of Afro Samurai. So apparently he's got the formula.
Which one was it? The Duel?
It was the first one, the like CG one.
Okay.
Kamikaze Doga.
Kamikaze Doga,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think
those.
I was mostly disappointed, but it's definitely an interesting experiment. And like, you can definitely see Trigger being Trigger. And, like Production IG, Kamiyama, his was my favorite of the bunch. The Duel was really great, stylistic, Kamikaze Doga style. There's those two, I think, was Nine Jedi, whatever Kamiyama's was called, and The Duel are definitely the two most worth watching. Some of them are like real rough. Even Imaishi's one, I was like, this isn't good. Like, it's Promare in space with a bunch of Star Wars references.
They like literally copy and pasted the character design.
Yeah.
Promare.
Yeah. I guess I could have asked that at the Trigger live drawing because Koyama was there and he did the character designs for both. There were people talking about the twins, which is the Star Wars Vision short that they did, or they Trigger did too, but Imaishi and Koyama did the twins. But yeah, I don't know if, because I mean they pick on themselves already with like Gallo just being Kamina again. There's a lot of that. Like at the Otakon screening of Promare, they were like, I don't understand why everyone thinks that Gallo looks so much like Kamina. Kamina wore sandals. They're totally different characters. And then they had something at one of their panels today where it was like a silhouette because people talk about like, Trigger, all your characters are like so unique, all the designs, you can tell who's who from a silhouette. And they had something where they had like a silhouette of either Kamina or Gallo and were like trolling people about which one it was. Oh yeah, it was when they were doing the live drawing. They just had like a layer because they were doing it on their tablets. There was just a layer where you just saw the outline of the silhouette or whatever. And they're like, who is it? Is Kamina? No, it's Gallo.
That's funny. You like when they can take the punches like that.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, Trigger, they're fun guys. They're always a good time. But yeah, that Star Wars Vision short is technically an anime that has an Emmy nomination. So that's it, I guess.
What else got nominated? A bunch of geek stuff got nominated this go around. Like all the Marvel stuff. What If got got some stuff. Jeez. Yeah. There really was a strong representation of geek programming, genre programming in the Emmy nominations this go around. So it's gonna be a lot of fun to watch when the awards are actually handed out. It's gonna be interesting. Yeah. I forgot. Somebody was really. There's one show people were really mad not to see get nominated. Our Flag Means Death. That was the one that people were mad about.
Those people got to make up their minds whether they're like Taiki Waititi fans or not. Like,
it's interesting. That's interesting, It's because people were super mad that got no nominations. So yeah, I just remember just skirting through and reading that. Like, I've honestly not seen the show myself, but I know there's like a very vocal fan following for it. So that was interesting.
Well, Ranking of Kings got nominated in my heart.
Yay! I wish I could have gone to that panel.
Oh yeah, that was another thing at the convention. I did not make it to the Ranking of Kings panel because it was the same time as the Jujutsu Kaisen panel, which was in the middle of a bunch of other main events that I was going to, and if I left the room, I would never get back.
That's true.
So I went to Jujutsu Kaisen instead. But they did have the director and the producer of Ranking of Kings there, and I got a Ranking of Kings poster signed by them. That was cool. Talked to the producer a little
There you
bit.
go.
Nice.
Girls.
They didn't make any kind of announcements though, right?
Yeah, no.
It's just mostly meet and greet and here's some questions.
Yeah, all those series panels were pretty much just like promotion, Q&A, Japanese PR. Yeah. Like they had a Kaguya-sama one with Aoi Koga, and they had a Demon Slayer one with Natsuki Hanai. So, those were cool, but not that much of substance, really.
All right. Well, we're pushing we're almost at the 2-hour mark. So, where does time go? What is time? Any last things? Any last remotely related to AX that anybody wants to say?
Nah.
I didn't get COVID. Thank you, God.
Oh, that was what I meant. I was going to ask you guys at the very beginning. It's like, did you guys survive? Did you make it?
Those East Coast antibodies kicking
Oh
in
my
for
God.
y'all.
And
I haven't actually tested since then, so I guess I probably should, but I haven't been sick or anything.
yeah,
You're just one of those like, I'm carrying this, but I don't know I'm carrying it. That could be anybody.
today's my first day that I'm actually eligible to get a second booster shot. Thank you.
There you go.
So,
I should check on that for me.
Oh yeah, I didn't even realize they were doing second.
oh
ones.
yeah. And I'm older and everything, and I gotta take care of an older one. So it's like okay, I'll go see about trying to get one. And then they're telling me, no, you can't go and get one until XYZ date. And I'm like, really? So I was honestly nervous walking around, being around people. But on the other hand, I had a Voltron mask and a Macross mask too. I tested out, so tested the heck out of those. And hey, in that and the boosters that I already had, things went okay. Thank you, Lord.
I'm glad that everybody survived.
Yeah.
I like to imagine that during one of the panels where they announced all the Macross stuff, Darius was wearing his Voltron mask on the outside, and then they make the announcement, and he just rips it off to reveal his Macross mask.
I actually got compliments for it, man. I actually did. And actually, I came home and there's a bunch of anime sitting there that from 2 different Bright Stuff orders, and I'm like, how the hell did this all come from? Okay, and
Yeah, my right stiff order from December finally.
yay. I saw your post about
Most
that. I
of
was
it.
like, wow, December.
I'm all like, hey, I'm still missing 2 items from the order, but most of the rest of it shipped. So,
Oh man.
Yeah, my favorite part was the Right Stuff shipped 8 of my outstanding orders together as I was moving,
Oh damn.
and they couldn't update the address on them because they were so close to shipping, and the mail forwarding apparently doesn't work with media mail.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
So all this shit got delivered to my old house 3,000 miles away, and I had to get my friend to just drive over there and pick it up before the owners checked their mail, and pay $16 to ship it to me.
God.
Oh wow.
At least that worked out for you getting the.
Yeah.
Oh, rescue my Blu-rays, man.
Yeah.
All right, we should start wrapping this up. Does anybody have any recommendations? Otherwise, we can plug projects we're working on.
We always have recommendations, Kate.
I will
Sometimes.
recommend a couple of things that I actually did get in the mail. I got the steelbook version of Cyber City 808 from Discotech, and they kept saying, well, it was going to look better than the Blu-ray that they put out, and they were right. This is very nice work. They went and got the original film negatives, and Yoshiaki Kawajiri helped work on this thing, and it looks better than ever. I'm not even gonna lie. So if you got the Blu-ray, give it to a best friend, like I did. I gave it to him for his birthday. Here you go, and go grab this one. Also, I popped in the Bell 4K that I got, and if the G Kids one looks as good as this one, I think people will be in for a real treat. I'm happy I got this one.
If the G Kids one even bothers to change out the logo.
Although this one does have one thing that apparently the G Kids one apparently doesn't have. It's got a soundtrack CD with it. So I was like, oh, so that's like, okay, that that's like it's like $20 more than what the G Kids one will be, but that just made it worth it because the music was just so amazing to it. So yeah, those are my couple recommendations to you. Oh, and also if you like classic film, Barnes and Noble is doing their Criterion collection 50% off right now. So yeah, I grabbed a bunch of that. Shaft in 4K is a beautiful thing. All right, here you go.
Ooh, nice. Well, I've been a little too busy to watch any of the new anime premieres for this season, so I am just going to recommend read Chainsaw Man and then start reading part 2 now that it's out, because you're gonna want to know that shit for when the anime drops, because it's going to be insane.
I mean, I'm always kind of two minds on this. Like, I kind of don't want to read the manga because the anime is coming out. Like, I love experiencing Attack on Titan fresh in anime form.
Yeah. That's what I did with Haikyuu as well. I was like, I could start catching up now. Oh, but they announced like in 9 months there'll be a new anime, so I'll just wait.
Yeah, I regret not having ever read Chainsaw Man, but I think at this point I will probably be going with anime first, and then maybe going back and reading some of the manga for the material I've already watched. That's usually how I end up doing it in these situations.
If anything, maybe just read the Fujimoto's one-shots, which he's been
I've read all those.
So, that'll be good because he literally does like a callback to Goodbye Eri in the first chapter of Chainsaw Man Part 2.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I think getting to know your like Fujimoto-isms will be...
Fujimoto Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, exactly.
God, wait, Chainsaw Man's by the guy who did
Fire Punch.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know if that's helping or not.
That's oh God.
It's still hilarious to me that the creator of Spy Family was an assistant on that manga.
So wild.
I can't. God. Fire Punch.
If anything, Chainsaw Man is slightly less weird and slightly less depressing.
Oh, Fire Punch was just edgy, the manga. Like, really, I mean, that's all. Like, it was just... Oh.
His new one-shot, which was a collaboration, not as big a fan of it. I was kind of disappointed.
Yeah, it was like short and sweet. I didn't mind it, but yeah, it was all right.
Yeah. But yeah, obviously, Look Back and Eri are both awesome, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. I got some recommendations. So hopefully we record again before the end of the month. But at any rate, at the end of the month, we are finally getting the Vinland Saga Season 1 Collection Blu-ray Limited Edition from Sentai Filmworks. So look out for a sale for that if you don't want to pay hundreds of dollars. But it's a really nice looking release. Also, if you want to purchase softcore pornography for less than $69.69, Right Stuff has re-released interspecies reviews in a standard Blu-ray.
Sorry.
I like that you mentioned that.
Sorry. Can you...
Nicely.
Were you saying something, Brandon?
Oh, I was just I was thinking about actually getting that for a friend. So
Nice.
yeah, I'm glad to hear that they're gonna restock.
Oh, also the biggest draw at AX, like the biggest fan base, above Trigger, above any of the other guests, a like meme hentai mangaka that Faku brought.
Oh, really?
Like
Oh.
everyone was standing in line from like 1 a.m. to 8 a.m. to be the first ones to get autograph tickets for him every day.
Really? Who's this?
His name is Shindo L. That's what he goes by.
Yeah, that kind of fan draw? That is interesting.
Yeah. People like porn, and apparently one or two of his properties are like big Reddit memes. So I think it's probably half and half, people who like the content and just meme about it.
I saw a dude with a Faku t-shirt at the Kinokuniya like a week or two ago. So
Nice.
the
That's
Jinchi
something.
fans are live and well.
Yeah, I mean, I think seeing all those people and just like talking to them and seeing them be passionate and normal, just really reaffirmed like, yeah, fucking love what you love. If what you love is weird ass porn, that's awesome. That is just as good as anything else.
No king
You do
shaming
you.
here.
Hell yeah. Anyway, yeah, those are my recommendations for Blu-rays. Also, Uniqlo is doing some collaborations. They just released a bunch of Spy Family shirts. The one really hilarious Anya shirt that everyone wants sold out immediately. So if you can find one of those in your local Uniqlo, definitely get that. But the other three are pretty neat as well. They also just launched a bunch of Gundam shirts, and they're going to be releasing a bunch of One Piece shirts pretty soon as well as cross promotion with Film Red. Oh, by the way, that was like the biggest thing at Anime Expo. The panel, again, unsubstantial, but the dealer's room and just like One Piece promotion everywhere was the hugest shit. Like there was a Luffy that was like, I don't know how many feet tall was that?
Oh god, I think it was about 12, 15 feet. It was a very huge display.
Oh, it had to be more than that. It had to be like 20, 30 feet tall.
Okay. Are you talking about the thing in the dealer's room, or are you saying in the lobby? In the thing? Yeah, okay, bad thing. My bad. Yeah, you're right. That thing's huge. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, you couldn't miss it. Yeah, cause I thought you were talking about the pirate shit that was like the first thing you ran in the dealer's room.
Oh yeah. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mention the dealer's room because the dealer's room was completely covered with One Piece stuff. Bandai Namco was front and center with tons of huge promotional stuff.
The Gundam base was that huge thing. And there was this giant Dragon Ball display. I'm gonna get that video made and I'll let y'all see it and everything. But there was this really cool Dragon Ball display by the Toei booth, as well as a Digimon display. It was really cool. And I really don't. There was something about some gal wearing purple and black, and I'm not sure what she was supposed to be representing. But like you just,
I'm in a VTubers because I know there was a big VTuber panel.
Yeah,
it was a statue. It was a statue of some sort. It was kind of high up off the ground in the exhibit room.
Do you remember where it was?
Like you kind of get to the Toei booth, and then you go further into the dealer's room, and there this thing was. I'm not sure what she was from.
Can't remember. But yeah, anyway, lots of big One Piece promotion with Film Red and everything else coming out. Odyssey, the new game that Bandai Namco is promoting the hell out of. Another big thing. But yeah.
Cool. Does anybody have any idea how long this Right Stuff birthday sale is running?
Good question. They keep sending me texts about it. I don't know.
Like, there's nowhere on their stupid website in an obvious spot that says when this sale ends.
They probably want that for FOMO reasons.
I know. But it pisses me off because I'm like, oh, the sale's ending. I don't know if I'm going to have this. See, it affects me editing in what time I edit this podcast, which will probably be Friday. I'm going to assume it goes through Sunday. If you're listening to this right away, Right Stuff is doing their birthday sale. They do sales all the time anyway, so it's not like it really matters, but I would also like to remind people that Right Stuff carries graphic novels, like English language graphic novels now. So if there's something you really like to want to check out and you don't want to pay Amazon money, they carry all the stuff from like Dark Horse and Image and that stuff. So you can just get that shit there now, which is great. So,
cool.
It's like, my cat's yelling at me again that it's time for bed. So, I guess we should wrap up. Everybody plug your stuff.
Excuse me, please. Let's see. I've got a bad cough. That wants to come out. No, I've got a Twitter. The people who came to my Black Character panel, I kind of posted some sources that you guys can read about the Black characters I talked about, and I'll be adding to it hopefully very soon. Also, look for my own write-up about Anime Expo, as well as video about it very soon. And and after that, catch. If you come to Otakon, I'll be running the museum because that's what feels like I belong now. I belong in a museum. Shit, I really am in that old. Okay, never mind. Okay, go ahead. Y'all go ahead because I feel decrepit now.
You can find me at Hellshake Brando on the socials, so Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, and then I still am writing weekly Mashal reviews over at Fandom Post. No idea what or if I'm going to be doing any simulcast writing, but I did just write a feature about Masaki Yuasa and his films based on IMDb ratings. So that was a pretty fun one to do. So check that out and check out the future ones that come out on the Fandom Post. I believe Chris just did one on, was it Shinkai? I think it was on Shinkai. But yeah, that's where you find me.
On Twitter at SonicBug, I am reviewing The Devil is a Part-Timer Season 2. It's been 87 years, but they made another season of that. Hopefully I'll have a review up by this weekend of the first episode.
That's exciting. Is that on Crunchyroll? Or
yes, and it's supposed to have simuldub. Hopefully it's got the, old cast return, or most of the old cast returning. Since whoever's still in the industry that it wants to be involved, still returning for that. So hopefully,
nice.
hopefully, I hope. It was a very good dub.
Guys, what are you talking about?
Oh, we lost you for a second. We are plugging ourselves and what we're up to. Castro, where can they find you?
Yeah, did you go through where you can find the podcast?
No, I have not done that yet.
Cool. Yeah, hi guys, I'm back.
Hey.
I don't know where I cut off, but you can find the podcast wherever you find podcasts. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Alexa, Amazon Music, fandompost.com. Find us on social media, follow us, share our stuff, get in contact with us, Twitter and Facebook at Fandom Post Radio. Get in contact with us via email, fandompostradio@gmail.com. I'm on Twitter at FullMetalKyoma.
Excellent. So we'll be back, hopefully sooner rather than later, with summer season, first look impressions and all that good stuff. And hopefully Kane will return to the land of the living and we can tear DJ away from his adoring public and have other people on who want to talk about the summer season of anime that has just started not too long back. So thanks for joining us and tune in next time. We'll see you then.
Bye-bye.
Yes.